What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Game of Thrones video. If you are new to the channel, then you can check out my coverage of the Season 7 leaks and drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Obviously, since the show is based on books, we sort of knew what was coming in the show. If you're a smug book reader, of course, I confess once Season 1 finished, I had to read all of the books that summer break. However, since the show has overtaken the books, us book readers are living in a night dark and full of spoilers. The show and the books have signposted just what is going to happen on the show seasons before it even happens, which is always fun checking Reddit and seeing a major moment has been foreshadowed. So let's take a look at some moments the show spoiled us in advance. Now, in Season 1, Episode 5, Robert Baratheon totally savaged Cersei. I totally miss Robert Baratheon, and we should have realised how savage the show was early enough to kill two epic characters. So, Robert Baratheon said this: "Let's say Viserys Targaryen lands with 40,000 Dothraki screamers at his back. We hole up in our castles, a wise move. Only a fool would meet the Dothraki in an open field. They leave us in our castles. They go from town to town, looting and burning, killing every man who can't hide behind a stone wall, stealing all our crops and livestock, enslaving all of our women and children. How long do the people of the Seven Kingdoms stand behind their absentee king, their cowardly king, hiding behind high walls? When do the people decide that Viserys Targaryen is the right monarch after all?" So obviously this has totally happened, albeit with Dany as opposed to Viserion. And no spoilers in episode 4, but if you've seen this, then you know how beyond true this has become. Now, number 2. Now, Littlefinger, the straight, cold-hearted dude, predicted a major death. "Oh, Littlefinger, you're the best," he said. "People dew at their dinner tables, they die at their beds, they die squatting over their chamber pots. Everybody dies sooner or later." Well, does that remind you of any major deaths in the show? Joffrey died at his table, and if this was anyone else, it would have been hard to watch, but this death had everyone cheering to the Seven. Everyone's favourite prostitute, Shae, was killed by Tyrion after she turned on him in another hard-to-watch scene. Savage. He kills his father, and you know what, I kind of miss Tywin on his chamber pot with the crossbow. I wonder if Littlefinger will predict his own death. Now, if you can cast your minds back to a time when Jon Snow was dead and we were all screaming each episode for him to be resurrected, well, Season 5 did a South Park. Just like when South Park ended on a cliffhanger about Cartman's mum, it returned with a Terrence and Philip episode, which, you know what, I didn't mind whatsoever because it was a really funny episode. Now, while GOT opened with Season 5 with the adventures of young Cersei sought out Maggie the Frog, who gave her 3 prophecies. This scene showed how much Cersei was a dick even when she was young. I mean, seriously, what is wrong with that girl? Who raised her? She is just an awful human being. What did Jaime see in her after all? She was told that she would never wed the prince, but the king. Of course, this happened with Robert Baratheon, and she didn't marry Rhaegar Targaryen. She actually married Robert Baratheon, and as we all know, that marriage was dysfunctional, to say the absolute least. It just did not turn out to be a great marriage, and I guess she was grateful when he died, of course. You know, all that went down with his death, and I really do miss Robert Baratheon. I mean, the actor is a fantastic actor. He played his role very, very well. Now, this foreshadowing as it exists because she was told, "You'll be queen for a time. Then comes another, younger, more beautiful, to cast you down and take you all you hold dear." Now, at the time, we expected this to be Margaery Tyrell, which, yes, this is sort of true, but with our knowledge of Season 7, we know this to actually be Daenerys. Now, we did kind of actually think that the person that would take her down would be Margaery, but of course, in the absolute next level badness that Cersei did, she blew up the Sept with wildfire. Absolutely insane, and that was one hell of a scene. I love the finales and the openings really, but the finales of Game of Thrones always give us some absolute sick next level explosions, fights, major deaths, and they're just really, really good seeing all this go down. So really, Margaery was not this person who we all thought it to actually be. And while she was absolutely loved by all of King's Landing, much to the ire of Cersei, but Daenerys has come across the sea, and now she is ready to take on Cersei. Albeit she is put on the back foot, but in the upcoming episode, it's going to be absolutely insane. #Field of Fire 2.0. But finally, we have the final one here with the king. And she says that the king will have 20 children and you will have 3. Gold will be their crowns. Gold will be their shrouds. Now, of course, we have had all... Poor Cersei. I kind of feel bad for her that all of her kids have died in quite harrowing ways. So first of all, we had Joffrey, who died at his table eating that pie. I bet he was wishing he was eating another pie. But he dies all the same. It is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But really, the Purple Wedding we all completely loved. And we loved watching him die in a horrible, horrible manner. The reactions to that. It's funny watching the reactions to that and then you watch the reaction to the Red Wedding. And he's gone. Then we have Myrcella, who is killed by the Sand Snakes. And Cersei got her revenge in the end on that. And you know what? I didn't really like the Sand Snakes. I didn't like the Dawn chapters in the books either. I thought they were really boring. I didn't like the characters. And you know what? They sucked. Apart from Oberyn Martell, who was an absolute G. And that fight with the Mountain was next level cool. And I really, really I was gutted that he was savagely killed. And I hoped he actually returned some way. Because everyone seems to actually bloody return when they come back from the dead in this show. But this cool character hasn't returned. Now, she was dead. And now Tommen, who was a very weird person, a loving person, albeit very, very naive and couldn't make his own decisions, let his mother rule him until Marjorie Tyrell actually gave up her, bits for him, and he decided that, you know what, I love sex, and the person who gives me sex is going to be the one I absolutely listen to and adore, which Cersei did not like, and Olenna Tyrell, well, she was behind all of these machinations, which, you know what, Cersei got her revenge in the end on her. So Cersei, what are you doing? You are insane. But this was all predicted, and Tommen jumped out of the window when he heard that his wife had died, and that was it. He was done. All of her children were dead. So all of these predictions are insane. Of course, we know that the king had possibly more than 20 children, as we saw them in that scene where they were all the kind of bastards were killed in a horrible, horrible fashion. However, that is it for this video. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe. And I'll see you soon, and goodbye.